Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Kogan. Drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go. So I think I've covered everything at this point. So you guys know the deal. I'm someone who makes a living out of stream contributions, not off of sponsorships, partnerships, and the like. I don't have any paid promotions, no product codes to enter in to get a discount and give me a kickback. It's all about me making content and you guys liking it so much that you support it. Please consider supporting the stream today. Ways that you can support: becoming a member, gifting memberships, super chats or super stickers, or tips. Currently, I'd like to hit $50 in tips on this stream. That's always my goal when I do any kind of a stream on YouTube. And sometimes we hit it and sometimes we don't. It's great when we do. It helps a lot. It'd be great if we can get around maybe like anywhere from 8 to 10 members today. Would help boost, the channel a bit. Okay? Speaking of that, I think it's time to now get to the subject at hand that everyone wants to know about, right? Let's do it. Let's talk about it, because finally I have my definitive answer of what's been going on this last week and a half with these member bombs. All right? So let's review what I'm talking about so you get the full story now in one section. I'm sure OP Boone will timestamp this video with AI, and this will be the start of the story of the member bomb nonsense that's been going on, because I finally got all the answers. Why do I have all the answers? Because people can't keep their mouths shut. Seriously. Most of the time, when these kind of things happen, if people just kept their mouths shut, no one would ever figure them out. But people can't help it. They just gotta brag. They gotta go, stroke their e-penis on forums somewhere. They big assy code coming out of their crotch and stuff. They can't resist. And so because of that, all this stuff finally comes to light. And now, the reason I'm telling this story is twofold. Number one, I do want you guys to know what's really going on. But number two, I feel like this is a cautionary tale for anyone right now who's making content on YouTube. It might actually affect other sites as well. But right now, I'm only aware of this being something going on YouTube. Okay? So allow me to explain. Last week, on the 7th of January, I received 200 gifted memberships from someone named Nikita. This is someone who I'd never spoken with before, had no idea who they were. No one had any idea who they were. But it was 4 bombs of 50 memberships, totaling 200 that day. And everyone was stoked because they got divvied out. People actually received them, and they were using their emotes, and they had the tags and badges and everything, and everyone was super excited for this. Like, wow, this is neat. Obviously, I was happy. I love it when my community gets rewarded like that. It's one thing if I get a contribution, because that directly helps me in the business. But when the community also makes out, that's really cool. And I knew with all these new playthroughs coming up that people were going to enjoy having access to the emotes and the badges and everything. You were going to have a great time with it, right? So it made me feel great. Oh, wow, a feeling of community and, support and grow. The next day, January 8th, I receive another member bomb of 200 members from the same person. Now, I just want you to think about this. My memberships in the United States cost $3.99 each. So this person buying 400 members in 2 days essentially just spent, think about how much money they just spent. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of money. I mean, that's ridiculous amount of money that they just spent, right? And you got to wonder, is it really legit? Did they just spend over $1,000 to support this channel and the community? You always got to ask, because it's a difference between if it's someone you know, if it's someone who's a regular in the chat and they've been here for years and they're a long-standing fan and they say, I just want to help out everyone. Here we go. Then I would immediately trust it. But as you guys know, I've been through the ringer over the years. I've seen so many different ways of trolling, chargebacks, crimes committed against me in attempts to try to fuck with me and my business and my livelihood. And so whenever I see something like this, right, I tend to be very skeptical. Now, I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, right? But at the same time, you got to wonder. So basically, after a couple of days, I started looking at my YouTube revenue, and no revenue seemed to be recorded for those 400 gifted memberships. To which I'm like, now I'm skeptical. I'm like, how could I have gotten 400 memberships but no real increase in income those 2 days? It doesn't seem to make sense, right? And some people were starting to say things like, oh, well, maybe what it was these people were from another country, like Nikita, whoever Nikita is. Maybe Nikita is from another country, and in their country, memberships cost something different. So maybe you did get paid, but you got paid less than what you would have thought. So instead of making, if it's a $4 membership, I would have made like $2.50 a membership, but maybe not. Maybe in their country, it's way cheaper. So maybe you made like $1 a membership instead. Can you confirm that? And I looked. No, I didn't even get that. Like, I didn't get $400 for 400 memberships. Like, no, there's like nothing there, right? So I'm like, definitely, that can't be it either. So what could it be, right? So a couple days pass. It hits January 10th. Okay? And on January 10th, I get gifted another 100 memberships, this time from someone whose name is Duty. Now, at this point, I'm skeptical. I'm like, since those first 400 memberships didn't seem to count for anything, could these be real? So I go and check this person's YouTube channel, all right? And their YouTube channel has existed since 2021, so it's not a new, like, dummy account, but they definitely changed the name. The name was something different previous. I couldn't tell what it was, but you could tell they had just changed the name to say Duty. Now, here's the thing. As you know, one of my detractors' names is Duty, or Duty Streams or something. I mean, what a big-brained fucking person to name themselves Duty. I mean, you're a real fucking genius, right? You can name yourself anything on the planet, and you name yourself after fecal matter. That's pretty impressively smart, isn't it? Anyway, so I'm thinking this person is probably trying to spoof my detractor. Maybe even give him like a razz, right? So I'm looking at it, I'm like, this one even more than Nikita is probably questionable. Because now you can tell this is an account that just changed their name. They changed it purposefully to a detractor's name, right? But the thing was, the memberships went out, and people got them, and people had all the benefits. It wasn't like these memberships went out, and people were like, oh, what happened? They're fake. I can't use the emotes. I can't use... No, they all worked. Okay? So within 3 days, a 4-day span, I'd gotten 500 gifted memberships on this channel, right? Okay. So, as you know, the weekend happened and all of that. My day off happened last week and everything. And I come back to streams this week, and I basically told you guys at the beginning of the week, it's weird that it's not recording any income for those gifted memberships, and now there's 500 of them. And none of them are recorded as revenue. And I'm like, something definitely gives here, right? In the meantime, someone else came on these streams by the name of X Hooligan. And this person did a series of super chats as well as 50 gifted memberships. But this person started speaking in Spanish. And then we were using Google Translate to try to figure out what they were saying. Well, one of the things that they said, all right, was something like, oh, so I like your content, but I have to go poop. You mean like duty? You see what I mean? So basically, this guy is probably the same person. All right? But now they're pushing the envelope even further. Not only are they doing fake gifted memberships of some kind, but now they're actually trying to get attention on the streams as well by doing super chats and getting me to respond. Do you understand? So, at first, I was responding positively to this stuff. But this person, after a couple days, kept doing these super chats in Spanish. And after a while, I started to see a pattern brewing. Okay? And basically, after seeing that pattern, I kind of started to figure out what might have been going on. Because there's something that happens here on YouTube that, to my knowledge, is an exploit. I don't know if it's actually like purposeful or legal. It seems to be an exploit. What is an exploit? An exploit means that someone has found a loophole in a system that should not exist and was not part of the original design of the system, yet they found a way to use it for personal gain or benefit. Okay? And you might say, exploit, well, what's the exploit? All right? So here's what I'm to understand, and people can correct me on this because I only know of this from people telling me and through my research basically last night, where I found out through someone contacting me and telling me, this always happens too. People contact me behind the scenes and they'll be like, Phil, just so you know, we found out what really is going on. For example, when I got kicked out of Twitch, the partner program 2.5 years ago, now it's almost 3 years ago. At first, I had no clue what happened, and Twitch wouldn't respond. And then someone behind the scenes contacted me and sent me all the information and said, here's literally the anti-DSP campaign that was sent to Twitch to make you look awful. Obviously, it's completely false and out of context. It was like a compilation of my worst moments of like 15 years, right? And they sent it to Twitch and said, basically Twitch had to basically get you out of the partner program, because if they didn't and someone complained, then how would they pretend like they're woke because of the stuff you've said over the years, right? So I'm like, wow. So basically I got punished for things I did like 10, 15 years ago because Twitch has gone fully woke, and they don't want anyone who's ever said risque commentary on their site, despite the fact I've been partnered with them for ages and they never had an issue with it before, and I don't do it now. That's very interesting, okay? So anyway, that's just one example. So someone sent me information and said, we have seen that there's this person who is bragging stupidly on various forums about doing this to you. All right. And what it is this exploit is that what they do is they use a VPN. If you don't know what that is, it means it's basically a way to make it look like you are in a certain region or country of the world, even though you're not. It's a way to get around if like an IP address is blocked in your country, you can use a VPN to still access the IP address. It protects your identity in a way, okay? So basically, what people have found is that there's particular countries where if you go to YouTube under that country, okay, that location, YouTube's pricing is completely wrong. It's not that the pricing is cheaper, it's that it's just fucking wrong, okay? Now, I don't know specifically what countries it is. Apparently one of them is a Spanish-speaking country, okay? So if you so for example, right now, if you're in the United States and you want to become a member of DSP Gaming, it's $3.99. That's the pricing that I'm able to control, and that's it. I don't control international pricing. YouTube does. So apparently people found a way to use a VPN to pretend like they live in another country. And when they do that, it changes all the pricing of everything on YouTube. Completely wrong. It's not a correct rate. Like some people say, oh, it's exchange rates. No, it's not. It's an exploit. YouTube's pricing is fucked up for certain countries, and it's not right. So basically what this person did is they used a VPN to log in as another country, and they went and bought hundreds of memberships for like pennies, right? So think about this. They bought 50 memberships, and if they did that in the United States, that would be like $4 times 50. That's $200. They were able to get it for like 50 cents because it's fucked up. It's completely broken. So they bought 200, then they used another account. They bought 100, and now this EX Hooligan did it and did 50. 550 memberships purchased via a VPN exploit that should not exist and has incorrect pricing, and they bought 550 memberships for like $2. So you might be like, so why didn't I see the revenue? Well, I did. I made $2 on all those memberships. So how would I even have known that's what it was? There's no way you could record that and it would make any sense. How would you know? Right? So to confirm this, there's been super chats that have been coming in from people, and they look huge. For example, someone will do a super chat and it'll be red, and red means it's the highest tier of super chat. Okay? And you're like, whoa, it's a red super chat. That means it's very valuable. But when you actually currency convert it from whatever this Spanish currency is that the super chat is, and you convert it to USD, it's like $1 or less. So yeah, it's basically YouTube is fucked up. They have this glitch or exploit, a hole in the system where people are working around, where they live and buying things on YouTube insanely cheap. And apparently it's not just me. Apparently this has been going on for months. Like, people have been going to YouTube streamers and dropping hundreds of gifted memberships on their channels, and the people are like, oh my God, this is amazing. This could be like life-changing money for me. You just gave me $1,000, and then they make like 25 cents. And they're like, huh? I want you to think about how fucked up that is. Now, here's the thing. Me, it's not that huge of a deal. I'm not dependent on or expecting to get that kind of crazy income out of gifted memberships, right? But for someone else, imagine someone like they're a small-time streamer and they're sitting here and they're live streaming and someone comes on their stream and says, oh, I'm going to be like a, what do they call that? Like a philanthropist. I'm just dropping on random YouTube streams today and I'm helping people, right? So here we go. I'm just going to gift you. And they gift 500 memberships to their community. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this is like life-changing money for me. And it doesn't count. They don't get it. They get a quarter, a nickel. Like, what the fuck? So now here's the deal. All right. Basically, you might say, well, how is this allowed? It's not. It doesn't matter how much YouTube pretends like it is. It's not, because it's an exploit. The difference would be if this was correct. If this was a proper like currency conversion, then it would be correct. But it's not. It's not a proper currency conversion. It's an exploit. So in reality, when people do this, they're breaking the law, and YouTube, every time that they enable this, also is kind of breaking their own terms of service, or not terms of service, excuse me, their own partnership contract, okay? If this becomes a huge thing on YouTube, and this starts happening en masse to tons of YouTubers, that's a lawsuit against YouTube. And they're going to have a hard time defending themselves. They are, because this is a problem. This is a giant hole where people can just lie and buy things on the cheap, and that affects people's businesses, right? Imagine if you were running a restaurant and someone walked into your restaurant and says, well, I have a coupon that says that I get everything on the menu for a nickel. Like, what the fuck is this? Hey, you got to honor the coupon. Tough shit. Right? No, that's bullshit. I'm not going to give you everything for free. What are you, out of your fucking mind? But, again, here's the problem with YouTube. Like I already told you earlier. Talking to YouTube support, you might as well talk to the painting behind me, because I will get a better response from the painting than talking to YouTube support. And I have an example of this, okay? About 2 years ago, I found that there was a huge bug on YouTube. I found it myself because I was clicking around and doing stuff, and I was like, oh my God, this is a humongous liability for YouTube. If they don't fix this, this could break the site. So I contacted YouTube support, and I gave them step-by-step instructions on how it works. Screen captures, everything. YouTube argued with me for 2 weeks that I was wrong. 2 weeks. And I kept telling them, no, I'm not. Here's the evidence. I don't want to hear you give me a form letter. I don't want to hear this bullshit. This is a huge site exploit. You need to fix it. So after 2 weeks of me hammering them and saying it's real, give it to someone to review, YouTube support closed my conversation. And I didn't hear from them again, and within 1 month, it was fixed. They closed the problem. They repaired it behind the scenes. Okay? So, it's not that YouTube doesn't fix these issues, it's that they drag their feet when they do, and they fight you, because they actually think they're so smart that there's no way that they could possibly have an issue like this on the site. Like, no way, man. An exploit like that, there's no way that exists. We're smarter than that. We're all Ivy League trained. We're all professional brainiacs over here at Google. I mean, we fucking eat pomegrapples and slide down slides and do Pilates during one of our fucking classes during our workday. There's no possible way that we could have a problem with the site. You're out of your mind. But then come to find out, every time people are right, and then they fix the problems behind the scenes, right? So this is definitely a problem right now. Now, here's the thing. Now I'm aware of it. And when I see people come in here and I see these super chats and things coming out, I'm just going to ban these people on site and not even respond. So if you notice, a super chat comes in and it's, a foreign currency and it's someone saying something stupid, I'm just going to ban and just move on with my day and ignore them. All right? Now, I can't stop people from using a site exploit. There's nothing I can do about that. I can't make YouTube fix the fucking problem. All right? You would think that now that I've talked about this publicly, that it would become knowledge that people would want to fix. But again, no one listens to darksydephil. To me, I'm no one, right? I'm nobody. I'm some idiot. There's no possible way that I could know anything about this or know anything important. So obviously, me saying this, I might as well be telling this story to this painting, because the rest of the internet treats me like a dumb meme rather than a human who knows shit, because I've been around the block for 15 fucking years. I know what I'm talking about. I might as well tell Mega Man about it. Maybe Mega Man will throw the Shadow Blade at YouTube and fix the problem, right? But you would definitely hope that someone would listen and try to fix this problem, okay? So if more fake stuff comes in, there's nothing I can do about it, all right? But I can wholeheartedly tell you, after investigating the situation, after having basically looked at forum posts and all the evidence, I have 550 fake memberships on the channel right now. They're not real. No one paid for them. You know, it's good that you guys have the benefits from them. That's amazing. But the problem is, the whole point of this leaderboard down here is to show how I'm doing support-wise on a stream. Correct? And when you see 1,147 memberships, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Wow, that's a lot of members. Phil's doing really good for himself, right? That's not true. That's a misconception based on 550 memberships I'm not going to get paid for. Okay? So that's not right. Because now what will happen is people will come by and look at that and say, wow, Phil's doing well off for himself. He's got tons of support. He doesn't need help today. I'll come back in a couple weeks maybe when things are slower and I'll help him then. And that's bullshit. I make my living on that. This is my main income down here. You understand? There's no behind the scenes agreements that I have with companies to pay me to shield their products. This is what I make my living on. And that can hurt me concretely. All right? So, enough is enough. Right now, I'm fixing the fucking members total to be appropriate to what I really have. I have 550 fake memberships. So if you subtract 500, you're at 647. And if you subtract the other 50, right, you're at 597. In reality, I currently have 597 members. That's the accurate number. And so what I would like to do today is get 610. Okay? It's only fair that I properly adjust it so people actually know what I have. Because that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? That's not fair to you or me to have people think that this community is doing so much better than it is because someone used a fucking exploit on YouTube that they need to fix on their end and I have no control over. All right? So there you go. Now, it is what it is. Now, listen, that's still a great amount of members. I'm not disappointed about that. And typically around this time of year, that's about the amount of members that I would actually have regardless. But the problem now is, this month my income is way down because there's no ad revenue to go around on YouTube at all. Like, literally nothing. So, ad revenue that I had over the last few months in the fall, I don't have. If you would like to support the streams, by all means, please do. And by the way, now that we've confirmed what was really going on, gifted memberships do help this channel. We know that now. As long as they're legit and people aren't abusing the fucking system and using an illegal exploit, all right, I will get credit for memberships and gifted memberships. So if you wanted to gift memberships to the community, yes, thank you. That would help a lot. All right. Saying super chats, never had a problem with. Tips, never had a problem with. By all means, if you want to contribute via those means, please do. All right. But I am now going to leave this adjusted for the month. 550 members really don't exist. I'm not going to count them for the channel and make it look like I'm doing way better than I am because that's bullshit. Okay? Okay. Excuse me. All right. So, that's the deal. I know that sounds crazy, but does it sound as crazy as the fact that there was a Comcast employee that for years was actually messing with my internet from internally in Comcast? But that really happened. Does it sound as crazy as the fact that not once but twice I had people catfishing my entire community, pretending to be a fan so they could get in as a moderator, only to then after the fact try to leak information about my mods and also mess with my chats? That really happened too. Does it sound as crazy as the fact that someone actually pretended to be an escort that I supposedly was paying to fly over from Europe repeatedly because I didn't have the ability to have a real relationship and I was blowing all my money on it? And then they were trying to catfish so that they could actually blackmail me later? Well, that really happened too. So you see what I'm saying? Like, all that stuff actually really happened. So as crazy as this story sounds, it's not as crazy as the other shit that's already really happened. So believe it. Okay? So, I mean, these people are wild and insane with the way that they act. And it's just out of control. All right? It's absolutely out of control. All right. Oh, by the way, while we have a couple moderators on the stream, FYI, moderators who are here, because I didn't have a chance to message everyone yet. This Sunday night, I'm planning on doing my first ever stream over on DSP Throwback. If you're a moderator and you can make it, please let me know, because what I need to do is set that channel up for the stream, and I haven't yet. So I need to get people moderated over there, like upgraded to moderators. If you're interested in helping, please contact me, like shoot me an email, because what I need to do is get you over there set up as moderators. So like Ponage, I saw you. I'll probably talk to like Slayer later tonight. And I talked to some of my other moderators as well. I think actually Madara might help out. So I want to get all the moderators over there so that we can get it set up so we can have a good stream on Sunday night, okay? So if you're interested, shoot me an email. I definitely could use some help. For as infrequently as I'm going to do streams on the Throwback channel, it's not a big deal, but I definitely need some help with that, so that way it's not just me trying to moderate when I'm doing stuff myself, okay? So there you go. All right, so, King Be Cruel says, is it ironic your old Final Fantasy 13 channel is hijacked by someone who streams Spanish soccer on it? You know, I'll be honest with you guys, I have absolutely nothing against Spanish-speaking people. I've known tons of Spanish-speaking people of various different ethnicities over the course of my life who are very nice people. I don't think this is the case that has anything to do with that. I just think it's a bunch of bad apples. Let's put it that way. It's a bunch of bad apples. And they try to spoil the bunch, but they're not going to spoil it for me. People in Spanish-speaking countries are nice people, in general, okay? But there's bad people everywhere, right? Exactly. All right.
I got the drip going. 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 I got the drip going.
It's like a faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop.
So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean, these dumb kids. This is what it is, it's dumb kids.